9:30. You're my witness. It's 9:30 exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Start right
like
on time today. No bonus.
Start a little early, or we start a little late.
No bonus time, no nothing. We're here at 9:30. It's KCIM Sports Rewind. Sports Director Jeff Blankman, Assistant Sports Director Casey Miners. I'm John Ryan, hanging out for the half hour and adding a little class to the joint today.
Yes.
Yeah. Best dressed guy in the room right now, Jake Buelt, is in the studio with us. How you doing, Jake?
Oh, not too bad. The only reason I'm best dressed is because I have to go to back to work after this. So
you've got a real job. We don't.
Otherwise, I'd be in t-shirts just like you guys.
Yeah, us three are at work though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yep.
Maybe there's a thought to change your career there, huh?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I got a good face for radio. That is one thing.
All right, so we're going to start with a trivia question. I'm going to include Jake in on this one.
Okay.
We do a trivia question each and every week.
Yep.
So these guys' question. All-Star game is tonight. Only All-Star game worth watching is the baseball All-Star game, correct?
I think so.
Man.
Yeah. From 1997 until this year, 26 games. How many times has the National League won the All-Star game? Since 1997.
Yeah.
Jake, I'm going to have you pull that mic up a little bit closer to get there. So.
All right, right here, good.
All right. Anybody got any quick guesses while we're at it?
I'm gonna guess 5.
5? That's.
I was going to go with that, but I'll say 3.
Yeah, no, you're right in the middle.
Okay.
4.
4.
Yeah.
That stunned me when I heard that. 4 times is all that the National League has won the All-Star game since 1997.
I know there was one point where the NL won, or the AL won like 10 in a row.
Right.
I think we almost might be at that point right now because I know the American leagues had the home field advantage in the World Series for how many years in a row now.
Right.
But
did they change that? Have they changed that since then?
it might be better record now, but
I think they did change it a year or two ago.
It's because the AL kept winning.
Yeah.
National League teams were not real happy that one.
If I remember correctly, didn't the NL dominate it for a long time too? So it's like each league kind of goes on a run. It seems like.
Yeah, but for 26 years, only 4 wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm too young to remember before that, Blankman.
Yeah, that's true. Are you 26?
I'm 31, but.
So there's your trivia question of the day. So let's talk about the reason that you're here, Jake. You've got a junior golf tournament coming up in Breda. Tell us the where, whens, and what's about it.
Yeah, so we're going to have our normal annual junior golf tournament up in Breda on July 29th. Tee-off's going to be at 9:30 that day. It's open to any kid in the area. So, whether it's in Carroll, Oldebolt, Coon, Manning, Lakeview, anywhere from there. Age groups, we're going to have ages 8 is going to be our lower end of it, and then we're going to go up through going into senior year of high school. So that's tough to say, 17 or 18, but if you're going to be going into senior year, you are eligible to play. The seniors that are going off to college, we've kind of gone away from them. I think the first year we had them just because of COVID. So ages 8 through senior year of high school, and that's going to be July 29th at 9:30 at the Breda Golf Course. If you need to get a contact, call up there, 712-673-4653. The last 4 digits are golf, if you forget that. So, it's a great event every year. I think last year we had around 40 to 50 kids, and we've kind of been holding steady at that. So we like to get that many again this year, and I appreciate you guys letting me come on and get the word out better.
Well, absolutely. Now, you've seen kind of a little uptick in some of the kids interested in golf that are coming up now again, finally.
Yeah, yep. So, back when we were kids, like my buddies Kyler, Tanner, Nate Molak, Nibsy, and all of us, we took lessons from Coach Clark, and once Coach Clark got out of it, there's really not a lot of guys here that gave the individual lessons or did tournaments. I kind of got back into it. I know Brian out at Carroll National is doing lessons again for juniors. So, it's starting to get kids back into it, and those numbers are starting to come up, which is really good because the last few years there's been some low numbers. Back when I was in high school, I think we had about 30, 35 kids on the golf team. So,
wow.
About 10 of them are there to play golf. The other 20 were there to get some lessons from Coach. So, which, hey, you know what? They're probably better golfers today because of it. So, yeah, we're just trying to get that back into the area, and with all the great local courses around here, it's a great thing to have.
How many years have you guys been holding the junior national or the junior tournament?
This will be our 5th year in it. It started off as the Fred Beckman Junior Golf Tournament after one of our members passed away, and then we switched it last year. So now we're just a Breda Junior Golf Tournament, but we want to keep those numbers up. So it's a fun day. The cost of it is $20. You get free burgers, free lunches, with the great help of sponsors like Arcadia Meats. And then, we usually have some little tea prizes or tea gifts for them and all that kind of stuff. Trophies Plus gives us some trophies. So, it's a really good event, and we try to keep it low cost because the biggest thing, in my opinion, is kids need to learn how to do tournament golf. And along with that, I do know the Muni and Carroll National are having some tournaments coming up. So even if you don't think your kid might not be good enough to play, just let them try it and give it a shot, and they might find something that they love.
Like you said, $20 is all it's going to cost them. They're getting the lunch and everything. They're getting the golf, so it's super low price. But what did tournament golf do for you growing up? I mean, you probably played in all these tournaments, everything you could.
Yep, no, we did. So got to give a shout-out to Jody Ludwig on that one. She was a teacher, so she had summers off, and she would pack Kyler, Tanner, Nate, and I into a van, and we'd go down to Des Moines all over the place. And we'd play in these Iowa Junior PGA events, which I believe is the one that's coming to Carroll National here in a couple weeks, I think. Just seeing different kids from different areas. Around here you might think you're a big fish in a small pond, but then you go to Des Moines and you realize that there's a lot better golfers than you out there, and that kind of motivates you a little bit. You look at golfers right now on the high school team, or from Kemper's team this year, I know for a fact, Maverick Schwabe and Braxton Benami. I think Caden Schoen. I know those guys go and play junior tournaments too. Sorry if I missed anybody. But I do know those kids go and play. And so it's a great opportunity to get out there and just see different kids, see where you're at, and then that kind of motivates and drives you.
I know you gave a phone number for people to call up to Breda. Is there a Facebook page or anything people can go and look at a pamphlet or anything?
Yep, so it'll be the Breda Golf Club is the Facebook page name. So, you can go on there. We'll have a post up for it and everything. So it'll be July 29th. We'll have that posted, and I can send it to you guys when we get it posted up there. So,
Is there a maximum amount in each age group, or do you just want to see how many you can get?
We want to see how many we can get. Our max would be 72, which would be 8 kids on each hole. So we haven't gotten close to that. It would be great if we did. Might make things go a little slower, but a tournament like that would be awesome. But so there's really no max. So, we kind of split them out into different age groups. So usually it's 8 to 10 years old. I think like 11 to 13, and then we go 14 to 17. So there's 3 different age groups, boy and girl division. So if you want to get your daughter involved too, that'd be great. I know they could use some numbers and everything. So it's a good chance to get your kids out there. I know there's always basketball camps and football camps and baseball camps. So we're trying to get golf back into one of the normal routine sports. Yeah,
it's about perfect time before any of that other stuff gets going. Hopefully you guys get time for this one. But how about parents? Do they need to provide any supervision during the day for the younger kids at all?
For the younger kids, we would appreciate if you did bring someone up there. We will have volunteers at the course that can drive around too. But if you do have a younger child, we would like you to come up and help follow around. Usually with the 8 to 10-year-olds, we put them at like 200 yards or 150 on the hole, depending how far out they are, just so that they're not playing a super long hole. And the other thing we do with our tournament is we have a max score of 9 on each hole to help to keep the tournament moving. And so, the kids don't become discouraged if they do have a bad hole or two in there. So
is there any kind of registration deadline that you want them signed up by? Or
probably just the Sunday before. So that's a Monday. So if you could have it signed up, by the 28th, that'll be the night that I'm putting scorecards and everything together.
So Jay can get to bed at a certain time on Sunday night.
and you know what? If it turns out that you were going on vacation or something and that didn't work out where you come up the 29th, we'll find a place to fit them in and get them into the tournament then.
This is a phenomenal event, really is, for all the kids around the area. You said there's other ones coming up, but this is the only one I know about.
Yeah, so I do know, and that's just because I heard from someone else that their kids are playing in the Iowa Junior PGA one, and I do know that the rec has theirs every summer too, so out at the Muni. So I just know that those are coming up, and I want to give them some shine too because, it is really fun. I played in all of them around here when I grew up, and, that might give them the confidence to want to go play somewhere else. And then, from there, they're building their way up. So
wouldn't it be great to get back to the times when Carroll County had every number one golf team in the state and about every class around?
Yeah, it was dominant back when Jake was around, and it was all the area teams. Golf was
Manning, Coon Rapids, Carroll, Kemper.
Yeah.
So I know. I mean, I think it was Johnny Schwaller from down in Coon. He was always a good player. But I mean, if you look at the tradition just here in Carroll alone, between our teams, the teams that had Dave Bloom, he was an individual winner. And then, I mean, you go to the other side of town with Carroll, then you have all the Pettit boys and the Pettit girls, and then those teams that they were on that were really good. I know we have a rich history here, and it's something we want to keep going around here. So
Justin Kraft up at Eastside County.
Correct. And he's doing TikTok videos on the Golf Channel and everything. So
he's big time in.
I played against him in college up at Briarcliff. He was at Northwestern, but. Yeah, he's on the Golf Channel now giving instructional videos and everything. So
nice. Yeah. Do you guys still do the Ryder Cup between you and Carroll High?
We do, So it's a sore subject right now because Carroll High beat us last year. But, that's coming up too, and that's always a fun event with Carroll and Kemper alumni. So I think that's coming up on August 10th.
Okay.
So, there will be a lot of familiar faces if you guys want to pop out to the country club that day.
Yeah, I won't be in the state, but otherwise I certainly will. But tell everybody out there I say hi.
I will, for sure.
Yeah. How's your game?
My game's doing pretty well right now.
Which he's sandbagging.
It's one of those deals where, you play as much as you can now, and it wasn't what it used to be, but it's still on par, or whatever you want to say. A lot of people will say, or see me golf and be like, well, I thought you weren't playing very well. And it's like, well, it's not what it used to be. So
once these kids go out and play, they might get the bug for it. I mean, you can have a contacts of kids that they can kind of to get a few lessons in here and there, right?
Yep, correct. Yep. So I do junior lessons up there in Breda. And I actually just got a junior camp done with where we had 36 kids. So I had 3 different, sessions with them and everything to divide it out. And even, if it's not me, like I said, Brian out at the Carroll National, he's having lessons out there, I know. Deb Goody is a great resource around here, or just any person like that
you'll get them into contact with him and you can talk to.
Exactly. Yep. But I do them up there, and I try to have a flexible schedule. Accounting kind of lends to that. So, but it's just about trying to get the most kids back into it so that we get the numbers out and we have those dynasties come back to town.
Yeah, exactly. July 29th, Breda Golf Course, the junior golf tournament, $20 is all it is. Call the golf course up there, 673-GOLF, or check that out on Facebook. Jake, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming in, man, and talking about this. We love covering events like this and getting more kids involved in a great sport.
Yep, nope, not a problem. And don't forget, I offered you a free golf lesson, too. So.
All right, I'm going to take you up on that.
All right, well, thanks, guys.
He's probably seen me swing a golf club before. So, all right, thanks, Jake. Appreciate it so much. Once again, Jake Buelt joining us here this morning on KCIM Sports Rewind. So let's talk last night. Audubon softball. Man, you had a good one.
Yeah, I had a great one. Probably one of the best softball games I've called in a number of years. I talked with Casey, who had called their 15-inning game against I-35 earlier this year, and he got a chance to see both. To me, he leaned the I-35 game because it was 15 innings. I leaned last night because of what was on the line, as far as great games. But Audubon had a runner in scoring position in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th inning, and the Yaki girl from Maple Valley, Anthonota Charter Oak Youth, their shortstop
the best defensive shortstop I've seen all year.
Yeah, she made so many plays to keep Audubon from being able to score, and then you come up with Anna Larson, a sophomore, and comes up in singles and takes second on an air, and then moves down to 3rd on a wild pitch with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. And you got 2 pop-ups on the infield caught by Yaki at shortstop, and all of a sudden you're down to the last out, and you're thinking, oh, man, we're going extra innings. And then the freshman Taryn Peterson comes up, and she had been 0 for on the night, and she hits a shot between 3rd and short, and Yaki got to it, but Peterson runs fast enough to beat it out to 1st, and Larson scored on the play. I would say I think she was safe by probably a step or so. The throw was a little bit late, but I mean, it was a tough play. She was in the hole between 3rd and short and had to backhand it and come up firing.
But she made that play twice that night.
Yeah. So, but Luckily, Peterson was really fast and able to beat that. I don't think if there might have been one other girl on the team that might have been able to run that out and beat it out. Otherwise, I think Yaki probably gets almost anybody else on the team out at first base, and we go extra innings.
Yeah. And so the girl that had the hit, she was
Peterson,
just a freshman?
Just a freshman.
Wow.
The girl that scored, just a sophomore. And the girl that struck out 12 in the circle for him, just a freshman.
No-hitter. Got to put the no-hitter in there, too.
Yeah. Actually was an error away from a perfect game. There was one girl that got on base last night. So you think about that. Almost throws a perfect game. One batter on base away from a perfect game in a regional final.
Yeah, and you're still looking at extra innings potentially. Yes. You're one hit away from all of that stuff. So what a phenomenal matchup. I know they don't know who they're going to play yet at state softball tournament.
Find that
is yet to be determined. So give me their odds going into this tournament.
It looks like they'll probably be the 3 seed. They were the 4 seed going in. They were ranked 5th, so they could have ended up as the 5 seed in the state. But
number 2 and number 4
got beat, so they should slide up to the 3 seed.
And there's a chance that 2 could lose tonight. They're still in Van Meter. Van Meter won, so they advanced to Van Meter. And I'm more than likely going to be the 1 seed. So you're kind of looking at Auburn anywhere being from the 3 to 5, I would assume.
Right.
So Van Meter, are they like head and shoulders? Because sometimes you see
looks
that,
like it.
Like you said, volleyball.
Like it.
They hit over 400 as a team and have a really good pitcher. So
wow. They've kind of handled everybody they've had to play this year. So, but you get there, anything can happen. Yeah. And I think Audubon's got a good chance to make some noise when they get up there. So
really good game last night by the Audubon Wheelers. They have been the hottest team all year long.
They have.
I mean, no doubt about that. So they have earned their way, certainly. Coon Rapids Bear going to try to earn their way tonight. Talk about that matchup with Rems and St. Mary's.
I think it's going to be an interesting one. As long as you got Colby Culbertson and Cal Hayden going on the hill, you're going to have a chance to beat anybody. I think the fact that Coon swept Woodbine and 10 run them the first time they played them, and I know the second time over there was really tight and low scoring. But Woodbine should have beat St. Mary's on Saturday night. Then you would have had a Coon Woodbine rematch for the 3rd time this year. But St. Mary's scores 3 in the bottom half of the 7th inning, 2 of them on an error with 2 outs that would have ended the ball game. So St. Mary's, who's ranked number 2, escapes. But I think that makes them look vulnerable. The only thing that I talked with Casey about it, talked with Jake about it when we got here, sometimes really good teams get a scare, and that scare kind of changes the projection. You got to hope that for Coon tonight that St. Mary's that wasn't their scare, and that the scare, and then tonight they're not able to come back from it. But I think Coon's got a legitimate chance to go up there and win. I think Coach Waddle's liked this matchup since the pairings were released.
So that is tonight from Cherokee. Once again, a place you've called many, many ball games from. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock on KKRL. That is our sister station. We're going to talk about the all KCIM Sports Rewind All-Star Team and festivities. That's coming up next here on KCIM Sports Rewind.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
We have got a brand new episode of Must Know People that you absolutely have to tune in for. Owner of Carroll National Golf Course, NBA champion head coach, and current head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, of course, it's Nick Nurse. Nick sat down with us just before the Chamber event last Friday to talk all about his NBA career, growing up in Carroll, and a whole lot more. It's Must Know People, a new episode this Wednesday at 10 a.m. at carrollbroadcasting.com. Had a great conversation with Nick Nurse the other day. Man, check that out. It's dropping tomorrow, 10 o'clock at 1380kcim.com. So, Must Know People is the name of that one.
I will say you caught me off guard because I was thinking I'd saw some pictures of you guys talking on Facebook. So I mentioned yesterday that was already dropped, and then I looked and I'm like, oh, no, it doesn't drop until tomorrow. So people are out there looking for it. That's on me. I apologize.
Wanted to have a chance to do a little pre-promotion for it. So I've been playing a couple of clips here and there on my air shift about that, but super nice guy. What an incredible, accommodating guy. And we're going to catch up with him. I did ask him about that. I said, hey, during the season, can we call you from time to time? He goes, absolutely. I tune into KCIM all the time. He wants to know if anybody out there listens to KCIM more than he does.
Okay.
So that's how often he tunes in to find out what's going on. All right, we're talking about the All-Star festivities and the KCIM All-Rewind team for baseball and softball. You tell me, where do you want to start out at?
We'll start with softball, and we'll start with honorable mention on softball. And I'll read those first couple of girls, as I did try to put them, all the kids on the same team for you. So that
he learns after about 10 years.
For you guys. But we'll start with Esac County. Honorable mention goes to Jen Aschinger and Miranda Gertis.
We had Amber Regaler.
From the Coon Rapids Bayard Crusaders, it's Anna Hart, Aubrey Hoffbauer, and Malia Clayberg.
From the Kemper Knights, Melinda Schaefer.
From Carroll, Analia Ayala and Avery Burke.
From South Central Calhoun, Olivia Toms and J.C. Gravy.
And from ICAM Manning, Alexa McGinn.
And then rounding out our honorable mention from Audubon, Gemini Goodwin.
All right, we're going to move on to second team here. And from the Kemper Knights, pitcher from the second team is Miley Schaefer.
You bet. Our second team catcher, also from the Kemper Knights, Ellie Sybil.
Our first team, our second base. I'll get it right eventually. Our second team first baseman.
That's a mouthful, man.
Keely Clayford from the Coon Rapids Bayard Crusaders.
Second baseman, second team from the Audubon Wheelers, Addie Hocker.
You bet. And then we've got Kaylee Derrickson from Kemper making our second team third base.
Shortstop for the second team is Cassidy Wink of Glidden Ralston.
All right, I'm just going to name the outfield here. From the Carroll Tigers, Chloe Jones. From the Kemper Knights, Allison Ostrander. And from Esac County is Anna McCullough.
Our designated player, Elizabeth Lloyd from Glidden Ralston.
And then we had a utility there on the second team, and that was Ashlyn Tigas from Glidden Ralston.
All right, we're going to move on to the first team. How about the pitching duo from the Audubon Wheelers, both of them, Riley Miller and Alexis Obermeyer.
From the Carroll Tigers, our first team catcher is Parker Adams.
Also from Carroll, our first team first baseman was Emma Coleman.
From the Audubon Wheelers, our first team second baseman is Taryn Peterson.
We'll move now to shortstop from the Kemper Knights, Casey Peter.
Our first team third baseman from Glidden Ralston was Tyler Jansen.
The outfield from the Audubon Wheelers, Maddie Nielsen is one position, Kemper Knights, Charlotte Schwabe, and also from the Audubon Wheelers, Jordan Porsche.
Our designated player from East Sac County was Jamie Pierce.
And then we also had a utility again on the first team, and that was Jalen Subert from Glidden Ralston.
And, John, before we dive into the Coach of the Year and the Player of the Year and the other finalists for that, some of the girls on the first team are in positions they really hadn't played. The thought process behind that was we really felt that everybody that voted those were kids that deserved to be on the first team. So, we had three kids that were catchers this year that we all felt kind of were first-team players, and we wanted to figure out a way to get them into the first team. So we slid some girls around a little bit to get the kids that we felt that were first teamers onto the first team.
So first team is first team, no matter what position they happen to play. So let's talk about first of all the coaches. The also mentioned for Coach of the Year, Aaron Bowman from the Kemper Knights, but boy, you got to give it up to the Audubon Wheelers, Andy Schwery, for the Coach of the Year in softball.
I mean, what a season they had. Yeah. I mean, I know back when was it football season that we found out that Audubon and Exira were going to combine, and I think both of our eyes were about to pop out of our heads, and we're like, that could be a very scary team, and it is with them getting to the state softball tournament.
Yeah, we knew that there was the potential to be really, really good because both of them had dominant pitchers coming back, and both of them had really good lineups coming back. And I know in a conversation with Coach Schwery before the year, she said that her toughest thing was going to be having that conversation with girls that had started last year that may not be starting this year, because you had more than 9 girls coming back that had starting, experience from the year before, and that's never a fun conversation. But she was able to get the kids to buy in and accept roles this year, and did a tremendous job. At one point, they were 3-3 on the year, and part of that was that their track team had so much success that you had a lot of kids that were gone for state track and weren't able to make all the practices early. And it was really about gelling the kids together a little bit and understanding the roles and all that kind of stuff. And once they got on a roll, they won 20 in a row, and they beat Trainer for the first time in a long time, and then they ended up sweeping them and stuff. So what a tremendous year, and she has done just a great job. I think she played for Joy Gross, and I think she's got the potential to go down as one of those type of coaches some days that has the kind of success that Joy had.
Tremendous stuff. Now, is that 20 still active, that win streak?
No. They got beat by Martinsdale St. Mary's, who was ranked number 1 in Class 1A on the road late in the regular season. I think they've won four or five in a row since then.
Basically 24 out of 25.
Yes.
So outstanding stuff. Let's get to the Player of the Year. I'm going to name a couple here that were in contention before we get to the actual Player of the Year and kind of talk about this a little bit. From the Audubon Wheelers, Maddie Nielsen. From the Carroll Tigers, Parker Adams. From East Sac County, Jamie Pierce, and from the Kemper Knights, Casey Peter. Talk about that group.
Really good. They all do everything, well. You got two of our catchers in that group, and then with Parker Adams and Jamie Pierce, both of them swing the bat incredibly well. At one point of the year, I think Jamie had 13 hits, and all 13 of them were extra base hits.
And Parker, the same thing. I think at one point of the year had maybe 16 singles and also had like 18 doubles.
She finished the year with 14, so but really close to that, and stuff. And then Maddie Nielsen, what can't she do on a softball diamond?
Arguably the most dangerous hitter in that Audubon lineup.
Yeah, and then Casey Peter played this year. There was a chance she wasn't going to be able to play after the first couple of games because she had some health issues and was thinking they're looking at maybe having to have surgery, which would have ended our season. But our defending Rewind Player of the Year still went out and had a very, very good season, a great season, actually, for the Kemper Knights.
But we have a new Player of the Year, and that is, of course, the star of last night's game as well, Riley Miller of the Audubon Wheelers.
Yeah, it's tough to beat her in the circle. Would she have 25 strikeouts?
So I did the 15-inning game. She had 23 strikeouts. 23
strikeouts that night. Had 12 last night. Averages pretty much about 10 to 12 a game. Doesn't give up much hits. And I think the most interesting thing for me is her walks in hits per, or walk to strikeout ratio. It's 9-1. She strikes out 9 batters to every 1 batter she walks.
She's got almost 200 more strikeouts than she does walks on the season.
Yeah, and then she's also a great hitter. Finished the year right around 300. Right around 330 or so going into last night's game. So does everything for him and does it very, very well.
All right, let's turn it over to baseball now. Let's hit up on the honorable mention.
We'll start with the Carroll Tigers, Carter Asick and Jackson Gross.
From Arweva, Wyatt Regaler.
From the Audubon Wheelers, Aaron Olson.
And from the Kemper Knights, Ethan Lowe.
So there you go. There's your honorable mention team. Let's move on to the second team now. And I'll start with the pitcher. Once again, the pitchers. There's 4 of them here on the second team. From the Kemper Knights, it's Tristan Jansen. From the Coon Rapids Bayard Crusaders, Max Sherbrun. Also from the IKM Manning Wheelers, Bryce Sommerfeld. And from the Kemper Knights, Mason Nierl.
And let's move on now to first base from the South Central Calhoun Titans, Cooper Natras.
Only an 8th grader. Cooper is at second base for the second team. Also from South Central Calhoun, it's Caden Dorman.
From the Coon Rapids Bayard, third baseman Tyler Moore.
At shortstop from East Sac County, Carter Ludwig.
The catcher from South Central Calhoun on the second team is Brock Natras.
The outfield second team from the Carroll Tigers, Tate Schleisman. From the Coon Rapids Bayard Crusaders, it's Parker Hayes. And from the Audubon Wheelers, Brody Schultes.
Our designated hitter, Braden Burns from the East Sac County Raiders, and I'll be posting a Rewind shirt picture that I got sent to me last night of him coming up later on this morning.
All right. And then at utility on the second team was Lane Sands of IK Manning, a late ad by Jeff Blankman to the second team.
Yeah, he had such a good year and then played so brilliantly against Xyro and Kimballton in the opening round. I was like, he's got to slide up. So he was the guy that we discussed about being on second team, so we just went ahead and slid him up. Or I should say, I went ahead and slid him up.
Made the executive call there.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the all Rewind baseball team. First team, the pitchers on this team include from the Coon Rapids Bayard Crusaders, Cal Hayden. From South Central Calhoun, Andrew Anderson. From Coon Rapids Bayard, Colby Culbertson. And from the Carroll Tigers, Stone Siebenoller.
Our first team first baseman, Mark Lynch from Glidden Ralston.
Our second team, I'm going to do it again. Our first team is second baseman, Benicio Lejano of Kemper.
Third baseman on the first team is Chase Regaler of the Carroll Tigers.
Our shortstop, Charlie Natras of South Central Calhoun.
The catcher on the first team, Jay Starman of IKM Manning.
The outfield first team in baseball, Carter Putney from the Kemper Knights, Jonathan Bergmeyer from Glidden Ralston, and Ross Kusel from IKM Manning.
All right.
And our designated hitter.
Designated hitter, Ryan North from Carroll. I realized that I forgot to add one thing on baseball, so I'll have to make sure I add it, because our post is going to go out automatically at about 10 after 10. I'll have to make sure I edit that, because there's one group I forgot to type up on the list, and everybody's probably noticing now what it is.
Yeah, we're missing the player of the year, but I'm sure you'll fill us in on that in a moment. But let's hit the coach of the year in contention. Jeremy Nielsen from IKEA Manning, Randy Snyder, of course, from the Kemper Knights, but the coach of the year is John Waddle, Coon Rapids Bayard. It's been an interesting year, an un-Crusader-like year. Yeah, started off a little bit slower. Came into the year ranked number 1, and I think that, put some pressure on them and got to them a little bit. And then, they had success in golf and had success in track and stuff like everybody else. And it took this team a little bit of time, but, they won the Rolling Valley Conference and, went undefeated.
Cruised in the Rolling Valley besides the 2 games against Woodbine.
Yeah, and only one of them was tight. Close, and stuff. So, but, they continue to go out and play really tough non-conference schedules, which made them better, which is going to give them a shot because they're going to see the type of pitching, or have seen the type of pitching that they'll see tonight from St. Mary's. But, John just does a tremendous job every single year, and this is just another one of those years, because about the midpoint of the season, this team kind of found its groove and has been playing good baseball ever since. So let's talk player of the year. Since we don't know, you're going to have to fill us in. Well, Casey does know. He was in on the vote. Cal Hayden. It's tough not to go with Cal as the player of the year. He's just been really, really good again. I'm amazed. I've had other people come up to me that are amazed that teams just don't walk him even with the bases loaded, because the doubles and the triples he hits are they're even the singles. It doesn't even matter. He's not going to strike out that much, but if it comes, it's going to come hard. Yeah, everything hits is on a frozen rope. Yeah, and his slugging percentage, not going to get it completely right, but it was over 700. Yeah. On base percentage up into the 600 range. Hit right around 500. Yeah, hit right around 500. And then he's not just great at the plate. He's an outstanding first baseman. Yeah. And under a 2 ERA on the mound this year. I was tied first on the team. Probably not now because Colby's pitched. Right. There are 3 playoff games, but was going into the postseason was tied with 80 strikeouts on the team. Only walked like 20, so it's just a tremendous pitcher as well. And what year is he? He's just a sophomore. He's the 2-time defending. This is his second Rewind Player of the Year. He was the runner-up as an 8th grader, won it as a freshman, and now won it again as a sophomore. And I know, Mom and Dad always say, quit saying so many nice things, because they want to keep him grounded, and stuff. But he's a grounded kid. I don't think they have to worry about that. Yeah, terrific player. Looking forward to that game tonight, of course, with Remsen St. Mary's. But talk about the All-Star festivities. Where, when, what's going on? You bet. And I'll just throw out a couple of names here real quick. Colby Colbertson, Jay Starman. If you think of anybody else, Andrew Anderson was another kid that we had talked about as our Rewind Player of the Year. But the event coming up this Saturday, so it'll be out at the Carroll High School softball field. If anybody's unaware of where that's at, if you know where the baseball stadium's at, Merchants Park, and if you have an idea where our aquatic center's at, it's jammed right into the middle of those two. So it's right by DMAC too. So it's just to the east side of DMAC. So gates will open up about 10:15. We're going to have the home run derby at 10 right after that. So about 10:30 we hope to start the home run derby. So this year we've got it where we're going to be able to use the batting cage. So we're going to let kids go in and kind of get some warm up swings in the batting cage before it's their time. Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll announce the kids in order, but then also kind of announce who's up, who's waiting, who's on deck, kind of so that kids know, I've got 3 hitters until I can go up, so you can go, get some more swings and stuff like that, because we are taking that time down a little bit. Yeah, we dropped the time from 1 minute last year to 30 seconds this year to hit as many home runs as you can. So we'll explain that real quick. So a home run, of course, counts as a home run. If you hit more home runs than anybody else, you're going to be the champion of either the baseball one or the softball one. But we're also going to have a tiebreaker system set up. So we're going to have the flags, the station flags out in the field. So if you hit, depending on which one you hit it past, you're going to collect points off of that, and we'll use those total points as any tiebreaker. Our softball champion will then hit against our baseball champion for a hit up. We are using high school softballs, and I've kind of told the story. The only thing we'll have to wait and see is I'm assuming if Coon wins tonight that the Coon boys will not participate because I do not want to mess up any swings. Yeah. But we've had several kids that hit him, especially Cal Hayden. He launched about 7 of them out on the Merchants Park a few years ago. We had some softball girls and some baseball boys, right-handers, that have hit him up into the yard across the street behind the left field fence. So if you want to come out and watch a lot of fun,
it's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. So come on out for that. Again, this is free and open to the public. Then we're going to have our senior all-star game. The seniors will play 5 innings, no more than 9 batters for each half an inning. It'll be a slow-pitch softball game, and we'll have the girls and boys mixed. I do apologize to the Audubon girls, but I'm so glad that they're there. But I had the conversation with Coach ahead of time, and a few of them, now that they qualified, we're not going to have them participate in the events coming up on Saturday because, 1, we don't want anybody getting injured, and number 2, like I said, I don't want them to get a home run swing on Saturday and then have to go play at a state tournament and mess up the swing at all. But we're going to do something special for them.
Yes,
we'll add the Coon baseball team on to that. So, if they qualify for state as well. So,
all right. So there you have it. It's once again coming up this Saturday, July 20th, the Carroll High School field there, just right by the Aquatic Center by Merchants Park. So to come on out, 10:15 is when the gates will open for that. And that is KCIM Sports Rewind for this morning.